Hello guys, my name is Aditya Anand and today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic, and it is also a misconception that a lot of C programmers have. The topic is I++ versus plus I. In other words, we can say it is post-increment versus pre-increment. And these discussions and the solutions and ideas that we will be discussing is completely based on standard GCC compiler, as the output given by the standard GCC compiler is different from the output given by other compilers. For example, Turbo C, like Turbo C, yes. So the output given by Turbo C will be different from the output given by standard GCC compilers. And what happens is, in most of the interviews or maybe the tests or quizzes, they ask such questions and they expect the answer to be on the basis of standard GCC compiler. So we will be seeing this today. And I assure you that after seeing this video, you will not have any confusion in this topic, and you will be able to answer all types of questions. So watch the video till the end and don't get distracted. Be focused on whatever I'm saying and you will understand it perfectly fine. So first of all is post increment. In post increment, what we do is we first return the value and then increment. And pre-increment is as simple as I is equal to I plus 1. We will understand these things with the help of examples. Okay, see, these things are not written somewhere in a book or anywhere else. This is just what I have observed, and I will be showing you how this works, and it works almost all of the times. Okay, so for the first case, let us say that the value of I is 6. I is an integer variable and it has a value of 6. So what I++ does is it stores the value of I in a variable that will be returned later. Okay, so the value of I is 6, so the value will contain the value of 6, right? And I will be incremented and the value of I becomes 7 and the value is returned 6, but there is nowhere to return here. For example, here we return the value of I to a variable a, right? There is no place to return here, and we directly print the value of I. As the value of I was already incremented, so it will print 7. Now the value of I is 7. So if we do a pre-increment, it simply means I is equal to I plus 1. The value of I will become 8 and 8 will be printed for this print statement. So the output is 7 and 8. Clear? Now let us talk about a different scenario where there are variables that stores the value of such post increment and pre increment. So what will be the value of a and b in this case? So again, we have initialized the value of I to be 6, right? So first of all, the value of I is 6 and the value will hold the value of 6, right? And 6 will be returned here. But in the meantime, I will also be incremented, right? So a will hold 6, but the value of I is 7. Okay, so we are printing a, so 6 will be printed. Now the value of I is 7, and then we simply do I is equal to I plus 1. The value of I becomes 8, which is then assigned to b. So b will print 8. Clear? Now let's talk about the third thing. The third pattern that we have set. We have just reversed this and this here. Okay, so pre-increment is assigned to a and post-increment is assigned to b. So what happens is, first we have the value of 6. Try to guess what will be the value of I and a here. So it is a pre-increment, and pre-increment simply increments the value of I. So the value of I becomes 7 and it is assigned to a. So when we print a, the value of 7 is printed, right? Now I plus plus is the post increment which is assigned to B. So first of all, the value of I here was 7, right? So we keep 7 in the value variable and we return the value. So B will hold 7, but in the meantime I is also incremented. So the value of I will be 8, but B will hold 7, hence 7 will be printed again, right? Clear? Now let's talk about the fourth problem. We are not assigning it to any variable, but we are directly printing it. So let's see what will be the value. See, the value of I was 6. Okay, now first of all we have I plus plus, that is a post increment. So we'll store 6 in the value and then we'll return 6. So at the place of %d here, 6 will be returned, and in the meantime I is also incremented. So 6 will be printed first and the value of I becomes 7. Okay, now we'll do a pre-increment. So now that the value of I is incremented to 7, so when we do the pre-increment, it simply does 7 plus 1 and it assigns back to I, right? So the value of I will be 8 and it will be printed as 8. Okay, now let's move on to this scenario where we have uh, multiple multiple placeholders, and all the variables, that is plus plus I and I plus plus, they are separated by comma. So there is a rule for such kind of thing. The rule is, whenever you see a comma, then you evaluate from right to left in a print statement. Okay, you evaluate from right to left and you print from left to right. Mind these words, you evaluate from right to left and you print from left to right. Okay, so first of all we get a post increment, right? And post increment returns a value. So at this position, the exact value of I that was earlier, that is 6, will be returned, right? Then in the meantime the value of I will be incremented to 7. This there is no evaluation at this step because this is simply a variable. Now we have to evaluate this again, right? So the value of I that was 7 will be incremented to 8. Now we'll print from left to right. So first the value of I is 8, that is printed, well and good. Again the value of I is still 8, that is printed. Now the value of I here that was already returned here to be 6, right? So 6 is printed. Understood this? If you did not understand, kindly comment down below. I will clear all of your doubts. And before commenting, I would say that watch the video again for this part only and see if it helps or not. So in this case, what will happen? That the value of I is 6. First, the value of I will be incremented. Okay, so it becomes 7. Now here we do not have to do anything because there is no operation associated with it. We evaluate from right to left. We do not need to evaluate this because there is no operation associated with it. Okay, now for this purpose the value of I was already 7, right? Because of this I was already 7. Now here in the post increment, what we do is we'll directly send the value of 7 here, and in the meantime we increment the value of I, right? So the value of I is 8 now. So at this position there was already, it was returned to be 7, so 7 is there. Now the value of I is 8, so 8 is printed. Again the value of I is 8, 8 is printed, right? Now take a pause if you have understood this. If you have not understood this, then go a little bit back and try to listen to the video once again. So in the meantime, just pause the video and try to think about this portion. What will be the result of this portion? So take a break for some time and think about this. Pause the video and think about this. So now I assume that you have thought about this, and let's see that the results matches with your thinking or not. Have you understood or not? So first of all, there is no comma operator here, so we will directly evaluate it and we'll print it, right? So how does the evaluation works? First of all, the value of I is 6, right? So here we have 6, right? And plus plus the value of I becomes 7, but for this portion the value returned from here was 6, right? So 6 plus the value of I is already 7, so 7 plus plus 7 will be 8, right? So 6 plus 8, that is 14. 14 plus, now the value of I was 8, so it becomes 9 here. So 14 plus 9, that is 23. So this should print 23. I hope all your doubts are cleared. If not, kindly comment down below and also give your feedbacks on how was the video. So before ending the video, let me show you something, that I have written these same codes here in a C file, and I'll be uploading this C file in the description as well, so you can download it from there or you can write on your own. Okay, so let me just run and show you this C file. Okay, I'm using a GCC based compiler, that is WSL for Windows 10, and I've compiled it. Now I am running it and these are the outputs. So let us compare with our outputs. So the first output is 7 8, as we can see, right? Second output is 6 8, well and good. Third output is 7 7. The fourth output is 6 8, as it is shown here. The fifth output is 8 8 6. The sixth output is 7 8 8, and the third output, as we and the last output, as we discussed, is 23. So thanks for watching the video. I hope it helped you in some way. If it didn't, please comment down below. I would like to see how you felt about this video, and if you actually like the video, hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more such videos. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.